Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Friday, April 16th. We're going to be talking about some NBA DFS picks on both DraftKings and FanDuel for today, but before we get started, I'm going to take a quick look back at yesterday's picks and see how they turned out. So, fair warning before we get started, yesterday was not too good of a day. It was one of those shorter game slates. Looked like there was going to be some value there, and there really wasn't too much value, honestly, so in retrospect at least. So we start off with point guard Steph Curry, $10,600. We were looking for 53 points out of him, got to 49.5, so he was a miss, but probably not one that killed you too much overall. Still one of the better point scorers on the day in terms of raw points. Then at shooting guard, had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope earlier in the day. Once Bryn Forbes was starting, did switch to him. Did make a note of that as well. So at 3,600, we were looking for 18 points out of him, got to 14.25, so he was a miss. Ken Bazemore, probably the biggest disappointment of the day, $4,900, looking for 24, 25 points out of him. He got 14, so he was a miss. He only played 24 minutes yesterday, only took a couple shots, so that really impacted his value overall. Then at power forward, had Cam Johnson, $3,400, looking for 17 points out of him, got to 12.5, miss for him. Just a day that his shot wasn't going down. Then at center, Hassan Whiteside, obviously the best hit of the day, $3,400, looking for 17 points out of him, got to 29, so he was a hit. So overall, not the best day on the DraftKings side. I did play Jaylen Brown, though, in my personal lineups as well, since I had some salary left over, and it kind of salvaged my lineup altogether. Still had a decent day. I had a lineup that got 272 points, and it still got 3 times my money. So that's when you know it wasn't a very good day overall. Then on the FanDuel side, we had Steph Curry as well, $10,500, looking for 52, 53 points out of him, got to 47.3. So he was a mess over there as well. Probably still probably not one that killed you too bad overall. Shooting guard Kevin Huerter, $5,400, looking for 27 points out of him, got to 31.2. So he was a hit. So that was probably one of the better hits on the FanDuel side yesterday. Then Ken Bazemore, once again, he was a mess, 12.3 points. We're looking for 25 out of him. Harrison Barnes ended up playing 40 minutes. And only had 22.9 points, so he was a mess. We were looking for about 29 out of him. Probably not one that killed you too bad overall. Power forward wasn't the greatest position yesterday, honestly. And then at center, Tristan Thompson, $4,100. Looking for about 20, 21 points out of him. Got to 29.7, so he was a hit. If you guys stuck with Kevon Looney, who was in the earlier day lineup, he also had 22 points for $3,500. He would have been a hit as well. But like I said, yesterday, not the best day overall. Sometimes them smaller game slates, they're just so volatile and harder to predict as well. If you don't have quite those top 2 pieces, you're not going to win at all. But, lower scoring day yesterday, you could tell, obviously, that it was not the best day for DFS overall. But with that being said, we're getting moved over to today's injuries. It's a 10-game main slate, I believe, and then 11-game all-day slate if you're playing all day, because there is this one island game here with the Pacers and the Jazz. And the Pacers, Doug McDermott and Miles Turner, both game-time decisions once again. Utah Jazz, Azubuike's still out. Clarkson looks like he could be back today, and then Derek Favors is looking like he's unlikely to play. Then we get moved over to the main slate. Oklahoma City, pretty much the same as they've been for a while now. They do get Lou Dort back in this one, but Deck, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Hall, Muscala and Povashevsky are all out once again. Then for the Pistons, half their team's missing essentially. So there's no Wayne Ellington, no Jeremy Grant, no Corey Joseph, no Rodney McGruder, no Mason Plumlee, and no Dennis Smith Jr. So this is going to be a big time value spot today. They're probably not going to be the prettiest names in the world, but there's going to be some value here. Then for the Clippers, pretty much the same as we kind of been looking at. Jay Scrubb, Ibaka, Beverly all out, and then Kawhi Leonard and Yogi Ferrell both are game-time decisions. For the Philadelphia 76ers, George Hill still out. Tobias Harris is a game-time decision, and Dwight Howard is a game-time decision but likely to play. Move down to the Pelicans, who have Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker both still out. Lonzo Ball, game-time decision, looking like he might be back today. And then for the Wizards, pretty much all the way healthy. Jordan Bell is listed as a game-time decision, not too worried about him. Then for the Hornets, this could be another value spot as well. You got the 3 guys that have been out for a while now. LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Malik Monk. Devontae Graham's out as well. Darling's out if you care about him at all. P.J. Washington, game-time decision, looking like he's not going to play. And then Brad Wanamaker, game-time decision. He's still kind of up in the air. So could be some good value there for the Hornets. We did see Caleb Martin go off the last time out. Then for the Brooklyn Nets, Chiwuza, Harden, and Tyler Johnson are all still out. They do get Kevin Durant back today. Obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge is not going to be playing anymore, so there could be a little bit of value there, but probably not too much. Then we move down to the Orlando Magic. Otto Porter Jr., Michael Carter-Williams, both out. Mo Bamba, game time decision. We'll see if he plays. For the Toronto Raptors, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, OG Anunoby, all out. Gary Trent, Jalen Harris, DeAndre Bembry, game time decisions looking like they won't play either. So this could be a little bit of a value spot as well. Looking at guys like Kem Birch in a revenge game. Malachi Flynn, obviously. And then Fred VanVleet returning to the lineup, most likely. Then we move over to the Grizzlies, and same three guys that have been out for a while now. Tim Frazier, Brandon Clark are both game time decisions, looking like they have a good chance of playing. Then for the Chicago Bulls, big one is Zach LaVine's out. He's going to be in the health and safety protocol, so he's going to be missing for, I believe, at least 4 games. So that's going to open up some value there, whether it's Garrett Temple, whether it's Denzel Valentine, whether it's Troy Brown Jr. We'll see who ends up in that starting lineup. That's probably the one that you want to go with. They're all super cheap today. And then we look at Tomas Satoransky, game time decision. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. Otherwise, Kobe White could be a good option today, especially with no Zach LaVine if Satoransky's out. Definitely more minutes, more usage for him as well. And then the Nuggets are all the way healthy. And the Rockets are missing the same 6 guys as the last time out, so nothing new there. Then we move down to the Miami Heat. And Oladipo's still out. Then Iguodala is a game time decision. We'll see if he plays. Gabe Vincent is probable, as always. For the Timberwolves, we have Beasley out. And then Noel is a game time decision. Portland Trailblazers, pretty much all the way healthy besides Zach Collins, who's been out all season. Then the Spurs have Trey Lyles out. Gorgie Jang is a game time decision. New York Knicks have Mitchell Robinson out, and Nerlens Noel is a game time decision. Looks like John Henson is in play today. Probably not a guy that I want to play in DFS, though, unless Nerlens Noel is out and he's starting or something like that, but we'll just have to see. Then for the Mavericks, just Terry out once again, so pretty healthy there overall. But that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries for today's slate. We'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So at the point guard position, I'm going with Saben Lee. This could honestly be Saben Lee or Killian Hayes. Honestly, it just depends on who's in that starting lineup at that point guard position. They're $3,100 and $3,000 respectively, so you're looking for 16 points out of both of them, no matter what. You could probably play both of them in your lineup if you really want to. There is a lot of good value out there today, so just keep those guys in mind. They play in Oklahoma City, who's not a very good team either, so it's kind of a battle of 2 teams that aren't very good overall. Then at shooting guard, went with Caleb Martin. Obviously, he had that big game the last time out. If he's in that starting lineup once again, $3,600, looking for 18 points out of him. Goes against Brooklyn. Should be a very good matchup for him as well. Then small forward, we got Davis Bertans. I did like him the last time out. He only played 22 minutes, but he's still over 20, he's still over 20 fantasy points. $4,000. You're only looking for 20 out of him, averaging just over 19 on the season. He's a guy that probably will change later on in the day, but as of right now, he's a solid value. Then at power forward, we got Josh Jackson. Don't ask me why DraftKings made Josh Jackson a power forward, but $5,300, looking for 26, 27 points out of him. I already mentioned all the guys that the Pistons are missing. If he's playing those minutes, if he's getting the usage bump that he's been getting, he's a very valuable fantasy asset today. Then last but not least, we have Isaiah Stewart at center. $4,400, looking for 22 points out of him. As I mentioned a few times before, when Mason Plumlee's out, we already know what Isaiah Stewart can do, so he's definitely a value out there for today. But if you go with these 5 players, you'll have $29,600 left over, almost $9,900 per player. So you could essentially almost pay up for 3 players. Otherwise, you pay up for 2 and then kind of get a mid-range guy. So there's definitely a lot of flexibility with this lineup, especially early on. And then with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So at the point guard position on FanDuel, we have Terry Rozier. Like I mentioned with the injuries, the Hornets are missing a lot of pieces. $7,000 for Terry Rozier. Looking for 35 points out of him, averaging almost 34 in the season. So just needs a little bit of an uptick, and I think with everybody missing, he can definitely do that today. Then at shooting guard, we have Gary Harris. Probably not a sexy name by any means, but $3,500. Looking for 17, 18 points out of him. That's what he's averaging on the season, and most of that came with Denver. So, in a situation where he's going to have more opportunities to succeed, take more shots, have a little bit more usage, he's going to be a lot more valuable than that. Then at small forward, we got Caleb Martin once again, $3,500, flat minimum. We saw what he could do the last time out. Talked about him on the DraftKings side. Goes against the Brooklyn Nets, looking for 17, 18 points out of him, averaging about 12 on the season. But we saw what he could do that last time out. So if he's in the starting lineup, got to play him once again. Then at power forward, I was between Kem Birch and Isaiah Stewart. I already picked Isaiah Stewart over on the DraftKings side, but I think you could probably play both these guys. You can even play both of them together as your two power forwards on FanDuel today. But I went Kem Birch, cheaper option here. $4,000, looking for 20 points out of him. Should be in that starting lineup once again. This is a revenge game for him, so if you guys are into that narrative, definitely one that has a lot of merit for him today. But, relatively decent fantasy point per minute producer. So as long as he's getting the minutes in that shorthanded lineup, he's definitely a guy that's going to pay off for $4,000 today. Then last but not least, at that center position, we got Nikolai Vucevic, $9,000, looking for 45 points out of him, averaging 46 on the season. No Zach LaVine today, so it's going to be the Nikolai Vucevic show. I think he's a guy that probably gets to 50 points pretty safely today. A very good pay-up option, especially at that center position where not a lot of guys are standing out for me today. But if you go with these 5 players over on FanDuel, you have $33,000 left over, $8,250 per player. So definitely a lot of room, a lot of flexibility to plug in some values, pay up for some different options, kind of mix and match, see what works best for you. But with that being said, these are my picks for today, April 16th on both DraftKings and FanDuel. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then as always, I'll be posting all the news, injury updates, and starting lineups down in the comments below. So definitely be sure to look out for that. And then with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It really helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's truly one for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams, talking all the different football news this offseason, especially as we move forward into the NFL draft. Like I said, going to be having that top 10 running back video coming out later today. Recorded it yesterday, just got to edit it a little bit more, so definitely be on the lookout for that if you're into NFL draft coverage. But with that being said, if you are a newer current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos like this, and as well as that football news, fantasy football content, and NFL draft content as well. So if you guys are interested in any of those things, I'm guessing at least one since you're watching this video, be sure to check those out. Be sure to be notified and subscribed. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you do very well in NBA DFS tonight. And as always, if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.